What is up, everybody? It's Copes here, and today I am back with another bracket video. But in today's bracket video, we have all the epic skins in this game. There are currently 226 epic skins, a lot of Alpine A skins right here, the Mogul Master skins as well. Then we also have 8 different NFL skins, so those add up quickly. There are a bunch of other sets out there as well, but I would say that adds to the total quite a bit. If you guys didn't watch my legendary bracket video, make sure to go check that one out. So each of these skins is faced against another skin. I say which skin I like more, and that skin moves on to the next round. The one who lost gets eliminated. So let's shuffle these seeds. There we go. And let's go into this bracket. So there are skins that randomly get buys. I don't know how to change that. It says you can on this website, and I would say that this is the best website to do these types of videos on. So guys, these ones, you know, they might not be the best skins, but they get a buy just because. And for that buy, it doesn't really matter, because if they're gonna win, they're gonna win. If they're gonna lose, they're gonna lose. But for epic skins, I really don't know which of them is my favorite, so we'll see by the end of this video. Starting out, we have the Huntress versus the Technique. I'm gonna try to rush through these a little bit. The Technique is easily better. The Hackavat versus Kit Bash. I would have to say the Kit Bash easily wins this one. Hackavat is one of the worst skins, at least epic skins in this game. Elite Agent versus Dante. Dante I hate. Elite Agent moves on. The Galaxy versus Rook. I feel like there are too many skins like Rook. I have to go with a more unique Galaxy. The Hide versus Elmira. I really love the Hide, but I would say for Elmira's new edit styles, I've got to go with her. The Sleuth versus the Far Out Man. I absolutely love the Detective skins. I gotta go with Sleuth. The Ray versus the Cloak Star. The Cloak Star is one of my favorite Save the World skins. I'm going with it. Mogul Master Korean version versus the Squad Leader. The Mogul Master wins this one easily. Blue Striker versus Nara. I really don't care for Nara or Taro. I like the Blue Striker more. Lucky Rider versus Revolt. I've got to say, guys, the Revolt is a worse version of the AIM skin. I think the Lucky Rider is my favorite Burnout reskin. I'm going with it. The Overtaker versus the Vulture. Honestly, the Overtaker, I do like him a little bit more now because of his edit style where you can take off his helmet. I'm going with him. The Cloak Shadow versus Freestyle. Freestyle is one of the worst epic skins in this game. It's an abomination. The Cloak Shadow moves on. The Plague versus the Redline. I feel like the Redline, there's too many skins out there like her that are just better. The Plague moves on. Iconic versus the Globe Shaker. This one is honestly so tough for me, but I gotta go with the Iconic, even though I love the Globe Shaker. The Mogul Master Germany version versus the Jack Gordon. The Jack Gordon, one of my favorite Halloween skins. It's moving on. Straw Ops versus Ether. I don't really like the design of Ether. Straw Ops easily moves on. The Dusk versus Peekaboo. I love the clown skins. Peekaboo moves on. The Trailblazer versus the Stratus. The Stratus, one of the weakest Battle Pass skins in this game. Mullet Marauder versus the Dreamflower. I do like both of these designs, but I have to go with the Mullet Marauder on this one. I just like it because it's a little bit ugly, but it's really cool. The Peely Bone versus the Fireworks Team Leader. Which one do I like more? Which reskin do I like more? The Fireworks Team Leader easily. Guys, I messed up here. There's 225 epic skins in this game as of right now. Bash isn't in the game and I accidentally added him, so Rebel has to move on by default. The Tilted Technique versus the Fable. I love the Fable's look. Even though the Tilted Technique has some dope edit styles, Fable has to move on. The Wonder versus the Neo Verso. One of the worst girl exclusive skins versus the best. The Wonder moves on. The Mogul Master Canadian version versus the Peely. Even though I think the Canadian version is one of the best Mogul Masters, probably at the number 2 spot, the Peely is my favorite meme skin. He's got to move on. Funk Ops versus Bunny Brawler. I really don't like the Funk Ops Bunny Brawler. Scoundrel versus the Heyman. The Heyman is one of my favorite male epic skins. It's going on. Delirium versus the Hollow Head. I like the Hollow Head, even though it's a reskin slightly more. The Steel Sight versus Rapscallion. This one's embarrassing. Go on, Rapscallion. Crackabella versus the Cobalt. I have to go with the Cobalt on this one. Field Surgeon versus the Sanctum. I wish the Sanctum could move on, but the Field Surgeon is just slightly better. Abstract versus the Spike. The Spike sort of wins by default. Flare versus the Infinity. Even though I think the Infinity has so much wasted potential, it moves on. Summit Striker versus Sophia. I don't really like the design of Sophia. I think it looks a little bit out of place in the Battle Royale. Summit Striker moves on. The Wreck Raider versus the Bunker Jonesy. Really don't like either of these skins, but I have to go with the Wreck Raider. I really don't like the Bunker Jonesy at all. I think it's a waste of a skin. The End Zone versus the Wingman. The End Zone isn't even my favorite NFL skin. We have to get this out of the list. The Nor versus the Nightshade. Nightshade is horrible. Nor is a dope detective skin. Gotta go with it. We have the Venturion versus the Deep Sea Dominator. I would say Venturion is a dope, underrated skin, but I honestly think the Deep Sea Dominator is one of my favorite underrated epic skins in this game. I've got to go with it. Mecha Team Leader versus the Burnout. Don't really care for either of these skins. I really don't like the Burnout, but I gotta go with it. The Summer Drift versus the Slushy Soldier. Even though I love the Drift, I would rather go with the OG Drift, and the Slushy Soldier is just tough to beat. One of my favorite Christmas skins in this game. Chief Hopper versus the Flapjackie. Chief Hopper, I love Stranger Things, so I'm gonna go with him. We have the Taro versus the Stage Slayer. The Stage Slayer wins this one easy. We have the Dream versus the Ludwig, and even though I really like his old man design, and I don't think we have another one out there like him, I have to go with the Dream. I love the color scheme, and I think it's just a better skin. We have the Takara versus the Snow Strike. I've got to go with the Takara for this one. I feel like it's slightly better. Chaos Agent versus the Shadow Arc. I think the original arc is better than the Shadow Arc, and I don't even like that one all that much. Chaos Agent moves on. Suntan Specialist versus the Luminous. The purple color scheme wins this one all day. The Archetype versus the Hazard Agent. I've got to say, guys, the Hazard Agent has definitely grown on me. The Archetype has not. Alpine Ace Korean version versus the Beast Mode. The Korean version definitely is what does it for me. That's why it's not moving on. It's not my favorite Alpine Ace skin. It's probably not even in top 5, so the Beast Mode has to go on. The Lace versus the Sidewinder. This one's so easy. The Reef Ranger versus the Starfish. I think the Starfish is one of the worst skins in this game. Next up, we have the Juke versus the Sparkle Supreme. The Juke moves on. I hate the Sparkle Supreme. The Tomato Head versus the Ace. I've got to give the slight edge to the Tomato Head because it's a meme skin. The Ace is just a little bit too boring. Gumshoe versus Sledgehammer. Gumshoe. Detective skins have won them all so far. Rosa versus the Alpine Ace. The Alpine Ace skin, just the original blue one, is my favorite. I gotta go with it. Willow and Wild. The Willow wins, the creepiest skin in this game. Doggo versus the Beef Boss. I gotta go with the dogs on this one. Trog versus the Alpine Ace UK version. Oh, this one's tough. I've got to go with the UK version. I think it has one of the most unique color schemes for the Alpine Ace skins. Rogue Agent versus the Sterling. The Rogue Agent moves on. Astro Assassin versus the Mogul Master. The original one is my favorite skiing outfit. I'm going with it. The Imperial Stormtrooper versus the P1000. I think they did a great job with this reskin. P1000. Snowfoot versus the Tender Defender. This one isn't hard at all. The Snowfoot easy. Hemlock versus Yeehaw. Yeehaw loses by default against anyone. Eternal Voyager versus the Fyra. Eternal Voyager, come on. Hothouse versus Ember. Ember all day. The Growler versus the Sugar Plum. The Sugar Plum is one of the worst epic skins. Growler easy. The Lil Whip versus the Copper Wasp. I feel like the Copper Wasp is a pretty unique, probably underrated skin, but the Lil Whip, I just gotta go with the memes on this one, guys. Splode versus the Synapse. Splode easily better. Daring Duelist versus the Honor Guard. This one's tough, but I'm gonna go with the exclusive skin just for this one. Shadow Ops versus the Master Key. I feel like the Master Key is just better, even though that Shadow Ops has that new dope edit style. The Powder versus the Whiteout. This one is tough. Really don't like the Powder, so I'm gonna go with the Whiteout. The Slumber versus Kuno. I really love this meme skin right here, but it's unusable. Kuno's better. Mission Specialist versus the Alpine Ace Canadian version. Alpine Ace Canadian, come on. The Blacklight versus Jagger. Really don't like this skin. I don't like the Fyra. Blacklight moves on. Big Chungus versus the Nighthair. Nighthair, one of the most underrated skins. Dominium versus the Strong Guard. Dominium, easily love that devil design. Triage Trooper versus Demi. Easy triage. Rabbit Raider versus Sparkle Specialist. Come on, guys, you know. Guan Yu versus Giddy Up. Guan Yu all day. Bandolier versus the Yonder. Come on, guys. Skull Trooper versus the Merry Marauder. I love the Merry Marauder, but Skull Trooper with those two edit styles, the OG one and the inverted one, are just better. Stoneheart versus Cameo versus Chick. I've got to go with Cameo versus Chick. The Aerobic Assassin versus the Shaman. I really don't care for either of these skins, but the Shaman is just slightly more unique. Paradox versus the Hotwire. I mean, come on, guys. So which skiing outfit do I like more, the female or male for the France version? I've got to go with the female on this one. Versa versus Big Mouth. Big Mouth wins by default. Versa is horrible. Maverick versus the Rust Lord. I've got to go with the OG Rust Lord, even though I do like the Maverick. Vega versus the Psycho Bandit. Psycho Bandit all day. The Catwoman versus the Night Witch. The only reason the Catwoman isn't moving on, I feel like the Catwoman is way too similar to other skins out there. I gotta go with the Night Witch. The Bright Gunner versus the Double Helix. The Double Helix being one of my favorite exclusives. Ghoul Trooper versus Katrina. I've got to go with the Ghoul. Alpine Ace Germany version versus the Moth Mandu. I mean, come on, Moth Mandu can't win. The Bone Wasp versus the Night Knight. Even though I love the clown skins, the Bone Wasp, there's just something about it that I like so much. I've got to pick them, guys. Deep Sea Destroyer versus the Mogul Master USA version. Deep Sea Destroyer all day. 8-Ball versus Scratch versus the Caster. I love the Caster. I love his new edit styles. I love each of them. But the 8-Ball versus Scratch has to move on, and I hate this bracket already for making me eliminate the Caster in the first round. Sunstrider versus the Major Laser. Sunstrider all day. Skalix versus the Blitz. I've got to go with the Blitz on this one. The Mogul Master UK version versus the Alpine Ace USA version. UK version wins. Sergeant Winter versus the Royale Bomber. I mean, come on. Mogul Master Chinese version versus the Grim Fable. I like the Mogul Master too much to not pick it. Now moving on to round 2. I'll try to speed through this a little bit faster, guys. I'm sorry. I want to give somewhat of an explanation, but I guess I will later on. Marshmallow versus the Technique. Technique all day, man, come on. Kit Bash versus the Elite Agent. I do like the Kit Bash, but Elite Agent for sure all day. Galaxy versus the Elmira. I think if the Caster was in place of the Elmira, it would win over the Galaxy, but Galaxy is slightly better. Sleuth versus the Cloak Star. Sleuth wins that one all day. Sub Commander versus the Mogul Master Korean version. Oh, this one's tough. Not really. The Sub Commander, it's not my favorite skin, but it definitely beats out sort of a middle of the road Mogul Master skin. Blue Striker versus the Lucky Rider. The Lucky Rider is easily better. I like his color scheme more. Kenji versus the Overtaker. I've got to go with the Kenji on this one. The Cloak Shadow versus the Plague. Cloak Shadow, it's gonna win this one all day. The X-Lord versus the Iconic, that's laughable. The Jack Gordon versus the Straw Ops. The Jack Gordon, one of my favorite Halloween skins, and epic as well. Malcor versus the Peekaboo. I do like the Malcor a little bit more as of right now. I think it's a very unique, underrated skin. Trailblazer versus the Mullet Marauder. I've got to go with the Trailblazer on this one. Ventura versus the Fireworks Team Leader. I like the Fireworks Team Leader design more. Rebel versus the Fable. Ooh, this one is not tough. The Rebel literally won by default. Fable wins. Wonder versus the Highland Warrior. I mean, come on. Healy versus the Bunny Brawler. I mean, come on. Toxic Trooper versus the Hayman. I mean, come on. Hollowhead versus the Rapscallion. I mean, okay, this one's actually a little bit more tough. I would have to go with the Rapscallion though, just because the Hollowhead is a reskin. The Clutch versus the Cobalt. I feel like any starter pack skin isn't gonna make it too far on this list, I'm sorry to say. Field Surgeon versus the Spike all day. The Synth Star versus the Infinity. I've got to go with the Infinity on this one. The Synth Star isn't my favorite skin. Summit Striker versus the Wreck Raider. Ooh, this one's tough. I've got to say another starter pack skin down. The Zoe versus the Wingman. I think I like the Zoe's a little bit more zany design than the Wingman. Nor versus the Deep Sea Dominator. I've got to go with the Deep Sea Dominator. Even though I like the Nor, it's not my favorite detective skin. The Rush versus the Burnout. I've got to go with the Rush on this one. I've got to keep a few NFL skins, and the Burnout just isn't good. The Slushy Soldier versus the Chief Hopper. I've got to go with the Slushy Soldier just because it is my favorite Christmas skin. The Shadow Scully versus the Stage Slayer. I put Skull on accident. I didn't type out that Y, but I have to go with the Shadow Scully. I think it is better than the original Scully, and it's just way better than the Stage Slayer. Dream versus the Takara, Dream all day. Grind versus Chaos Agent, I've got to say, guys, Grind is just better. All the starter pack skins are going away. Luminous versus the Hazard Agent, even though I think the Hazard Agent has grown on me, the Luminous has been good since the start. Gridiron versus the Beast Mode, Gridiron all day. Lace versus the Reef Ranger, Lace all day. Shade versus the Juke. This one is not tough at all. Come on, Juke is just so much superior. Tomato Head versus the Gumshoe, I've got to go with the Gumshoe. Alpine Ace versus the Willow. I love the Alpine Ace skin, the OG, but I do like the Mogul Master more than him. Willow, the creepiest skin in this game, I'm going with it. Doggo versus the Alpine Ace GBR or UK, I've got to go with the Doggo. So right here, I thought I was talking about the Rogue Agent, but this was the Chaos Agent. I know this one isn't a starter pack skin, but I still like the Grind more than the Chaos Agent. So now we're moving on to the Rogue Agent versus the Gut Bomb. Now we can delete that starter pack skin. Mogul Master versus the P1000. Mogul Master easily better. Night Beam versus the Snowfoot. Night Beam don't really care for. Snowfoot all day. Hemlock versus the Eternal Voyager. I do like the Eternal Voyager. I think it's dope. The Corrupted Voyager versus the Ember. I think the Ember is one of my all-time favorite Battle Pass skins. I'm going with it. Growler versus the Lil Whip. Ooh, this one's tough. I've got to go with the Lil Whip. I'm going to stick with the meme skin on this one. DJ Yonder versus the Splode. We already have the Yonder on this list. DJ Yonder isn't better, so the Splode's moving on. Honor Guard versus the Master Key. I really like the Master Key, but Honor Guard, the exclusive skins, got to go on. Teef versus the Whiteout. If I had to pick one, I would go with a more original, creative one. Teef all day. Kuno versus the Alpine Ace Canadian version. Kuno slightly better. Interceptor versus the Blacklight. I do like the Blacklight, even though it's somewhat of a reskin of the Skull Trooper. I like it more. Nighthair versus the Dominium. I've got to go with the Nighthair. I think it's super underrated. I love its design, and they're both sort of evil skins. We have the Moonwalker versus the Triage Trooper. Triage Trooper all day. Sparkle Specialist versus almost anything is moving on. Scourge versus the Yonder. I like the Scourge's sort of creepy design. Skull Trooper versus Cameo versus Chick. I've got to go with the Skull Trooper. I love his new added style. The Spooky Team Leader versus the Shaman. I don't really care for either of these skins, but I would say the Shaman is slightly better. The Paradox versus the Mogul Master France version. Paradox all day. Come on. Sith Trooper versus the Big Mouth. I do like this new Star Wars skin more. Rustlord versus the Psycho Bandit. Rustlord easily moves on. Battlehawk versus the Night Witch. I mean, come on. Double Helix versus the Ghoul Trooper. The Ghoul Trooper, as of right now, is just a decent skin. Maybe if it was rarer, I would like it more. But as of right now, sort of a bot skin. Double Helix all day. So Alpine Ace Chinese versus the UK. I've got to go with a more creative design with the UK. The color scheme's better. Bone Wasp versus the Deep Sea Destroyer. Bone Wasp moves on. Regsy versus 8-Ball versus Scratch. I've got to go with the 8-Ball versus Scratch. Sunstrider versus the Blitz. Sunstrider a little bit too boring for my taste. Ginger Gunner versus the Mogul Master UK version. I've got to go with the Ginger Gunner. The Royale Bomber versus the Mogul Master Chinese version. I've got to go with the Royale Bomber. Technique versus the Elite Agent. I mean, come on. The Galaxy versus the Sleuth. Honestly, for me, I like the pickaxe, the back bling, the glider more than the Galaxy skin itself. Even though it's really cool, I got to go with my favorite detective skin, the Sleuth. Sub Commander versus the Lucky Rider. Easily Lucky Rider. Sub Commander went way too far. Cloak Shadow versus the Kenji. Cloak Shadow all day. Iconic versus the Jack Gordon. This one is the toughest one so far. The Iconic is my favorite exclusive epic skin, but I would say if it wasn't facing this skin, it would probably make it very, very far into this list. But the Jack Gordon, one of my favorite epic skins, it has to move on. Malcor versus the Trailblazer. The Trailblazer is a decent Twitch Prime skin, but Malcor is better. Fireworks Team Leader versus Fable. Fireworks Team Leader has a better color scheme, I would say. Peely versus the Wonder. Guys, I know the Wonder is a dope female exclusive skin, but the Peely beats it out. Heyman versus the Rapscallion. Heyman easily all day. Clutch versus Field Surgeon. Field Surgeon all day. Infinity versus the Wreck Raider. Don't really think either of these skins should be this far in the list, but Infinity is slightly better. Deep Sea Dominator versus the Zoe. I mean, that's so easy for me. Rush versus the Slushy Soldier all day. The Shadow Scully versus the Dream. I like the Dream's color scheme more. Grind versus Luminous. I like the Luminous more. Gridiron versus Lace all day. Juke versus Gumshoe. The detective skin wins. Willow versus Doggo. The creepier of skins wins. Gut Bomb versus Mogul Master all day. Mogul Master. Snowfoot versus the Eternal Voyager for sure. Ember versus the Lil Whip. That one's not even in the discussion. Splode versus the Honor Guard. This one's tough for me. I really like the Splode's unique design, but if I had to pick one skin, I would probably go with the Honor Guard. Teef versus the Kuno. Gotta go with the more creative design on this one. Teef for sure. Blacklight versus the Nighthair. The more underrated skin wins. The Nighthair. Triage Trooper versus the Sparkle Specialist. I love the Triage Trooper, but Sparkle Specialist has to move on. Scourge versus the Skull Trooper. I've got to go with the Skull Trooper just because of that inverted edit style. Shaman versus Paradox. Shaman shouldn't be here. Paradox moves on. Sith Trooper versus the Rust Lord easy. Night Witch versus the Double Helix all day. Bone Wasp versus the Alpine Ace, just Germany version, a decent Alpine Ace skin. Bone Wasp all day. 8-Ball versus Scratch versus Blitz. 8-Ball for sure. Ginger Gunner versus the Royale Bomber. Ginger Gunner is so much better. We're in round 4 now, guys. Sleuth versus the Elite Agent. I'm sorry to say, guys, I like the Elite Agent more. It's just such a better skin. It's one of my all-time favorite Battle Pass and epic skins. The Cloak Shadow versus the Lucky Rider. I love the Lucky Rider, but I've got to say the Cloak Shadow, it's just a skin I want to see more of. The Jack Gordon versus the Malcor. The Malcor is one of those skins that's grown on me so much. I used to hate it, but now I love it. But the Jack Gordon has always been a skin I've loved, and the Jack Gordon moves on. Fireworks Team Leader versus the Peely. I wouldn't even say the Fireworks Team Leader is my favorite team leader, so the Peely moves on. The Heyman versus the Field Surgeon. The only reason the Heyman will be moving on is because the Field Surgeon has a reskinned version in the Battle Pass. It's a new medic skin. I like that skin more than the Field Surgeon, so it's not even my favorite medic skin, but the Heyman, one of my favorite Halloween skins. It's got to move on, guys. Deep Sea Dominator, I've got to say it has to move on. The Slushy Soldier versus the Dream. Slushy Soldier all day. Lace versus Luminous. Lace all day. Gumshoe versus the Willow. This one's tough. The only reason I'm not going to allow the Gumshoe to move forward is because it's not my favorite detective skin. The Willow is my favorite creepiest skin in this game. Eternal Voyager versus the Mogul Master. Just the original Mogul Master is my favorite Mogul Master. Gotta go with it. Ember versus the Honor Guard. Even though I love the Honor Guard, I've got to say Ember moves on. Teef versus Nighthair. Nighthair all day. Sparkle Specialist versus the Skull Trooper. Sparkle Specialist. Paradox versus Rust Lord. Paradox all day. For the past like 6, 7, 8 of these I've went over, I would say it's good skins against great skins, and that's why these decisions are so easy. Double Helix versus the Bone Wasp. Double Helix. Ginger Gunner versus the 8-Ball versus Scratch. 8-Ball versus Scratch. Now moving on to round 5. Cloak Shadow versus the Elite Agent. If I had to pick one, it would have to be the Elite Agent. Jack Gordon versus the Peely. Even though the Peely is one of my favorite meme skins, the Jack Gordon is more usable and better. Moving on, we have the Heyman versus the Deep Sea Dominator, and I've got to say, guys, the underrated aspect of a skin definitely is appealing. If I end up really liking that skin, I'm gonna love it because it's underrated, and the Deep Sea Dominator is that skin. I think it's such a unique design. I absolutely love the color scheme of it. It's just so good in Fortnite. The Slushy Soldier versus the Lace. Guys, I've got to say, the Lace with the Paradox, that is one of my favorite sets of skins in this game. But the Slushy Soldier is my favorite Christmas skin. It has to go. The Willow versus the Mogul Master. Guys, if I had to pick one, even though the Willow is the creepiest skin in this game, I would go with the Mogul Master. Ember versus the Nighthair. I've got to go with the Nighthair for this one. Sparkle Specialist versus the Paradox. Sparkle Specialist, my favorite Battle Pass skin in this game, but the Paradox is one of my favorite epic skins in this game. Double Helix versus 8-Ball versus Scratch. I've got to say, guys, the Double Helix is my favorite exclusive skin, I have to go with it. Now we're in round 6, the top 8 skins, the Elite Agent or the Jack Gordon. I know you guys are gonna hate me for this. I know it's just a simple battle pass skin, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the Jack Gordon has to move on. If I were to pick between one of these skins, I would pick the Jack Gordon all day. The Deep Sea Dominator versus the Slushy Soldier. The Deep Sea Dominator, it is one of my new emerging favorite skins. I love using it. It's so unique. I've got to go with it. The Mogul Master skin versus the Night Hare. The Mogul Master skin is just a skin I will use way more often. I've got to give it the slight edge. The Paradox versus the Double Helix. Guys, the Paradox, it has to win this one. It's one of my favorites. Even though the Double Helix is one of my favorite exclusive skins, the Paradox is one of my favorite all-time skins. In my final 4, we have the Jack Gordon versus the Deep Sea Dominator. This one is so tough. I love both of these skins about the same, I would say. So the question I really have to ask myself is, which one would I wear more if I were to only be able to buy one? And the answer is Jack Gordon. He's in our finals. Now we have the Mogul Master versus the Paradox. This one is, again, tough. It's so tough. I would say these are almost equal. But the one that beats it out, I think, for the more creative design, but also being very simple at the same time, the Paradox, easy. Now for our finals, we have Jack Gordon versus the Paradox. These, I would say, as of right now, are my 2 favorite epic skins in this game. My favorite being, I sort of figured it out probably in round 5 which one was going to win, but the Paradox, it has to win, guys. It is my favorite epic skin in this game. There were a bunch of skins that sort of got screwed over just for sort of being in the wrong position. I would say the Caster may even be in my top 20 for favorite epic skins. It was knocked out in the first round. The Night Knight and the Bone Wasp, 2 skins that got knocked out maybe a little bit earlier than they should have. I love both those skins as well. I'm gonna be honest with you guys though, this was honestly not too bad of a bracket. I would say in round 4, not too many things stand out as bad. Maybe the Lucky Rider shouldn't have made it so far, but I would say all these skins are skins you'll see me use and skins I like. Infinity, an exception, don't really care for that skin, shouldn't have made it to round 4. But other than that and the Lucky Rider, I would say all the other skins deserve to be in round 4. So honestly, guys, the Paradox, Jack Gordon, my top 2 favorite skins for epic skins. I absolutely love them. Maybe if the Double Helix faced the Jack Gordon, it would have beat it out. I don't know. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys could, drop a like for me, subscribe for me. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.